Hello. New job time.
Welcome to the Cabin Factory Corporation. At the Cabin Factory, we pride ourselves in creating
Where's
the
my
best
hand?
hyper-realistic horror cabins for the movie and theme park industries. Starting today, you will be one of our cabin inspectors. Congratulations! Due to a recent legal dispute that falsely claims some of our cabins are haunted, it's now mandatory to inspect every cabin to ensure the safety of all users. It's important to highlight this claim is untrue.
I tapped my mic.
0 cases of serious anomalies
I forgot
proven to be the corporation's
I forgot the top of my mic like mutes my mic. Haha. Hehe.
fault. We're positive you will carry out these inspections thoroughly.
I look like I'm retirement age. Why am I starting a new
Cabin
job?
Factory Corporation family. Have a wonderful first day as a cabin inspector. By entering this elevator, you have accepted all the terms of your contract, which may be updated without notice.
I don't think that's legally. I don't think you can do that. Yeah, I'm just like a I'm just a heavy smoker. Oh, I already don't like this. Hello. I can run. Inspect the whole cabin. Yeah, I don't know if I have it set up right, but there's like where's my hand? There's like a little command thing in my title, and when I start it, oh yeah, you can see it on the corner on the side there. When I start it, you guys can like interact and type in the chat, and then it's pretty cool. It's neat. I'm sure we'll figure it out. It's not that hard. I think it's just, oh, it's danger. Did I write the right ones in my title? One sec, let me double check. Danger. I think death is like a secret one, but it's fine. Yeah, there's like a thing there. Okay, so let's see. If haunted, turn back immediately, press danger. If safe, press clear. Spectral cabinet. Any movement means the cabinet is haunted. If nothing moves, it's not haunted. Shift to run. Thanks. I'll have to get the whole spooky effect, huh? I can't just inspect the cabinet. I'm gonna say cabin. Cabinets. I'm gonna say cabinet all the time. Oh my god, it's a cabin. House. Open. One second. As my activity feeds are just a bit weird, let me just open up my thing so I can make sure I don't miss. Yep. And mute. There we go. Should be good. Give me 1 second. Here. This over here. Okay, there we go. All good. Now we're good to start. We're good to start. We're good to go. Okay. Let's see. Is this haunted? YN? Evil? Oh! Okay. If nothing moves, we're good. If something moves, we're not good. Oh, I guess we can't open that door. Oh, stairs! Please say there's no basement, though. There's a basement. It's Jover. Looks good down here. I think the fire's supposed to move. Aw. Looks good. I don't see any movement. I don't see anything off. Surely the first one just, like, is good, right? Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying clear, huh? Clear. I think we're good. Yippee! Yippee! Oh, look, you get a little ranking score, too. That's funny. Alright, next one. You can, like, look in the windows and stuff, right? Don't see anything. Alright, in we go. Looks good so far. And then? Don't see anything yet. He's chilling. Door's closed. Is that... That's a croissant that's shaped like a banana. I don't see anything. He's chilling. There's a flog. A TV. Looks good. Looks like we're chilling. Did he move the last time? I think this is, what is the other command? Yeah, danger. I don't think this is good. That guy's knees were moving for sure. Hell no. Get out of here. You're the fastest and the slowest. Congratulations. Alright, next one. Third one. We're gonna look in the window this time. I don't see anything so far. Open?
The brutal fire that burned a family alive took place in an isolated cabin in the woods. 2 bodies were found calcinated on Sunday evening after 3 hikers noticed a huge column of smoke and immediately called 911. When emergency crews arrived just minutes later, the flames were still burning. According to our sources, a family of 4 lived in the cabin. A mother,
That's danger for sure.
and their 2 children.
That's danger for sure.
The bodies found on the scene
But I want to
belonged
listen.
the parents. The 2 children, a 10-year-old little girl and her 6-year-old brother, have not yet been found in the surrounding areas. The chief of the fire department announced the search operation will continue.
You're not gonna jump scare me if I look, right?
Them alive. It is still unclear how the parents got trapped inside their own cabin, but the police have found clues that may indicate the fire was intentional. A criminal investigation is ongoing.
Yeah, that's not. What? So if the radio goes, it's fine. That is not. I guess it's only if stuff moves. If stuff plays, we're fine. What the fuck? Alright, well now we know. Wait, what is that? What the fuck? Oh, now there's a death one. All right, thanks. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. Ready? Looks good. That scared me. I don't know why that scared me. There. Portrait's good. Brother's chilling. Let me out! Hell no! What the fuck? Alright, next one. I get, like, so audio doesn't count per se, but if something is open or moved, it counts. Noted. There. Portrait is good. Man's chilling. I don't want to go upstairs. I don't want to go upstairs. It looks good down here. The door's closed. The man's still eating his apple and banana. Are you chilling? Frog's good. That's not moving. I think we're good. No noises. Everything. Ah! Ah, please! Move, bitch! Move! No! He's right behind me, isn't he? Move! Oh my god. Please? Oh, don't jump scare me. You gotta move! Hello? Hello? Anybody? Knock knock? Girl, do you want me to die? Do I have to go upstairs? Please spare me. Please move. You're like 2 pounds. Okay. Oh, the door's open. No, please don't make me go in the basement. It's gonna be a fucking basement. Ah! I'm not going. I refuse. It's gonna make me go. Please move. Please be not at the door anymore. Oh, you're a little bitch, you know that? Santa's giving you nothing this year. I'm going in the basement. Please. I can't. She's gonna turn around. Close your eyes, guys. I'm getting closer. Oh. 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 Oh no. Okay. Okay. Ah! Ah! Please let me out. Greta. Oh. It's like.
What do you think you'll find outside? Absolutely nothing. You want to leave, Greta? That's totally fine. But your brother will stay here. And he will not be happy when he hears you abandon him.
Who'd go?
Leave and abandon your poor
Don't look in the
mother.
mirror. It's gonna jump scare me. Ah! 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 Please get away from me! Oh! Ah! Let me out! No! Fuck you guys, I didn't die! I bet I'm gonna die now. We're good. There. Portrait chilling. Papa chilling. Door free. Door closed. I don't trust these stairs. They're so dark, man. Okay. You good? Bro's not moving. Triple checking. He's not moving. I think we're good. I'm watching you. Don't see anything out of place. I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah. What did I miss? What did I miss? Okay, let me look. Okay, maybe something out here. Okay, shoes. Okay, let me memorize. Okay, we got a little thing and shoes out here. Hello? Okay. The bear's chilling, the bed's chilling, the portrait is chilling. Here, radio. Fire's going. Papa has not moved. It's always an apple and a croissant, right? Yeah. Okay, apple croissant. Portrait's still good. Don't you fucking jump scare me, you little bastard. TV's good. This thing's good. Ribbit's good. But let's triple check. Down we go. Do I have to go in the basement now? Okay, no, I don't. Thank fucking God. Okay. Didn't he have like a knife or something before? No. Looks good. Bread. 2 slices of bread. He got his breakfast. Wood stove's going. Portrait. 2 cups. Basket. Bed looks good. Air's good. I think we're good. I don't see any ghosts. I swear to God, this one's not clear. Yippee! Alright. Shoes. Thing. Yeah. Outside's good. When did that get there? Yeah, no. Shoes. Okay, outside's good. Looks okay so far. Godspeed. Hat, lantern, these, yep. Is that chair really big? Bed's clear. Mugs. Picture. Guess that chair's always been there, huh? Papa's chilling. He has not moved. What about you? Ribbit. TV looks good. Oh no! Stop looking at me! Oh! No. Yeah. Bye! Shoes. Okay. Outside's good. Light, hat. Here. I hear thumping. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Don't make me go upstairs. Dad, am I crazy? Don't run at me, don't run at me, don't run at me! Okay. Kid. Not moving. TV. Froggy. Don't see anything around. Dad's still good. Oh my goodness gracious, thank you for the follow. You scared me. It looks like we're good. Guys, you were supposed to warn me. I'm so sorry. That bitch. I knew something was off. I heard the thumping. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Oh, here's my hand. Where's my hand? Oh, it's over there. Okay, shoes, box. Outside looks good. Oh no, hell no! Guys, she's missing. I'm not even gonna give you. What do you mean? She was gone! Ain't no way that wasn't danger. She was literally gone from the portrait. I was not going in that fucking house. It was haunted. Do I have to go in the house? I can't just, oh, you got me fucked up. Okay, shoes, box. That's good. She's back in the portrait. I can scratch my nose. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're going. We're good. There. Bed. I hear thumping. She's gonna get me again? We're fucking dying? She's gonna grab me? Okay, stove good, radio good, that door's closed, Papa's still eating his that cup was going. Shoes box. Yeah, we're good. Mom's good. She's in the portrait. Why is my nose? It's not a VR game, but honestly, if it was, I'd probably poo my pants. So thank God. Okay, we're going in. Ready? Remember, audio's not danger, guys.
The fire that burned a family alive took place in an isolated cabin in the woods. 2 bodies were found calcinated on Sunday evening after 3 hikers noticed a huge column of smoke and immediately called 911. When emergency crews arrived,
still good.
Just minutes later, the flames were still burning.
Okay.
According to
Door's
our
closed.
sources, a family
Dad,
of 4 lived
chillin'.
in the cabin, a mother, a father, and their 2 children.
Don't jump scare me. Don't jump scare me. Don't jump scare me.
Bodies found on the scene
Okay,
belonged to
kid's
the
good.
family.
Rabbit.
The 2 children,
TV.
a
That's
10-year-old
what the
girl
fuck? That's a
and
frog.
16-year-old
Rabbit.
have not
I'm
yet been areas.
we're good. I think we're good. Bro, don't start with me. I'm so fucking stressed right now. Oh, we're gonna get jump scared. It looks like we're good. Dad's chilling. He hasn't moved. I think we're good. I'm going to say clear. And if it's not clear, then I guess I just end it. Yippee! Alright, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, shoes, box. Yeah, okay. That's good. You guys see what I see? Is it gonna make me go in? I think it makes me go in. Oh my god, why is my nose so itchy? One sec. One sec. Okay. I think I literally have to go in. I don't think it gives me an option to not go in. Let's just... And back, and hell no. Fuck you! You got me fucked up. What do you mean it's not haunted? If any move, so if nothing moves, it's not haunted. So he wasn't moving. So if he runs at me, it's haunted and I die. If he doesn't run at me, it's just haunted, or it's not haunted. Okay, I get it. I get it, I guess. A man can stare at me through the window, but it's not haunted. Understood. It's cool. I fucking love I Spy stuff, but it got me stressed out because I'm missing stuff. Okay, lantern, hat. She's in her portrait. We're good. I heard thumping. I don't like that. I heard thumping. Bed. Mom's there. Dad's gone! Hell no! Where's the buttons? Where are the buttons? Guys, where are the buttons? Ah! I knocked over my, one sec, I knocked over my tracking. You good? You good? The hands? You good? The tracking good? Okay, we're good. I'm so sorry I screamed in your guys' ears. I'll be better. He stole the buttons from me. What was I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get 8 in a row? All right. We're good. He's in there. Okay. This time I try not to scream in your guys'. That was right away. That does not, that's the start of our run, and that does not spark joy in my heart. Okay, she's still in the portrait. Lantern, hat. I hear thumping. I'm gonna die. I hear it. I'm gonna die. I'm so scared right now. That's chilling. Okay, radio. That's good. Don't move. Don't move. It's the same cabin over. Guys? Guys? Please don't run at me. Is that a person? Ooh, he's not moving though. He's not moving though. So if it's not moving, I think if it's not moving, we're good. But like, if he's moving, it's bad. He wasn't moving though. Let me see. Oh, I'm so sorry. I doubted you. I'm so sorry. He wasn't. This game got me fucked up. Okay, so if they're peeking in from the window, it's clear. If they're moving, it's not clear. But if they're standing still, it's also not clear. What? Okay, we'll get this. We'll figure it out. I believe in us. It's so dark in there. Guys, it's so dark in— She's out of the portrait! Did they take the buttons again? They didn't. Don't make me go in there. It's gonna make me go in there. Because if I just hit the button, technically there's no movement. Guys, do we go in? Because it technically right now it is clear. You gotta go in? Alright guys, I'm going. It's so dark, the fire's gone. Hello? They're all gone. Where's the phone? Hello? Where's the phone? Is it upstairs? Guys?
What's your emergency? I see, sweetie, but I'm sure they love you. Being a parent can be really hard. Is there anything I can help you with? Are they there now?
God, give me the will to turn around. Whoa, 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 whoa. No! Don't say death! No! You're wrong! You're wrong! You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. No, no death, no death, you're wrong. Yep! Yippee! Leave me alone, I'm so scared! Boots. Bin. Mom's back. We got a bag. Hat. Lantern. Stop with the thumping! Bear's good. Lights on. Doors closed. Don't like that light moving. Radio's good. Don't move. I'm begging you, don't move. You got the banana, croissant, and the apple. Okay, little boy. Frog. Guy's chilling. Evie. Dad's not looking at it. Dad's still chilling. Door's closed. I think we're good. Let me take a double check just because sometimes cups and stuff move and I don't trust anything in this house. Radio's good. I think we're good. I don't see anything moving. I think we're chilling. I think it's clear. Watch me be wrong. Clear. Yippee! We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, boots. Bin. Bag. He's in the portrait still. Don't see anything. Godspeed. Hat, lantern. He's still chilling there. Bear. Bed. Fire's going. Radio. Door's closed. Dad's not moving. Boy. Oh, come on, open. I think that's not clear. Yeah. Boots, bin, we're good. Mom's in the portrait still. Godspeed. Okay, hat, lantern. Bear's chilling. Bed's chilling. Fire's going. I don't like the thumping. Please stop with the thumping. Fire's going. Dad's chilling. Apple croissant. Not moving. Little boy. Technically, he's not Ah! He's moving! No! No, nope, nope, nope. No. Hell no. Yep. She's in the portrait. We're good. She's in the portrait. We're chilling. Okay, hat, lantern. Yep. Mother, bear, beds. Oh, whoa, whoa. Nope. That is a hand underneath the bed. Hell no. Oh my god, we're so close. We're going to die. Ain't no way we don't die here. Okay. Bear. She's in there. Don't see anything. Okay, Godspeed. Here we go. Hat, lantern. Mom in portrait. Bear. Bed. Nothing's going to grab me. Dad's chilling. 2 cups. Radio. Fire. Oh, someone's gonna jump scare me. No! Nope. Oh, 2 more. Oh, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Lantern, hat. Mom's chilling. Bear. The cups. The, chair. Radio. Fire's going. Dad's, this door's closed, I think. Yeah, Dad is not moving. Why are the stairs still good, though? He's gonna jump scare me. I think we're good. He's not moving. You're not moving. No one's moving. Dad's chilling. Okay, mom's still there. Oh. I think we're good. Watch me fail this one. What do we think? We think we're good? Take one more look in. I didn't see anything move. I think we're okay. But let me double check right quick. Because I don't trust myself anymore. I think we're good. I swear, if I mess this up, I'm gonna be so mad. I think we're clear. Oh, thank God! Okay, one more. One more. We got this. It's gonna kill us. Ain't no way it doesn't kill us. He's in there. Okay. It's gonna have to. It's going to kill us. There's no way it's going to let me win. Hat, lantern. Mom's chilling. Bear. Bed. Good. Dad, chilling. Radio. Stove. Chair. Dad's not moving. We're good. I don't trust this little boy though. Frog. Child. What is this? Technically she's not moving. Technically. So I think we're good. Unless she moved? No, I think we're good. Am I winning? Oh, clear! Yippee! Yippee! Look at that. Slay! Now what? That scared me. Oh! Ding, ding, ding. Did I win? Are we done? Am I free? Yeah, am I getting laid off? Oh! Hello? Good job, you can go. Time. Okay. I'm free! I'm free! Hello? What the fuck? What the fuck? What is happening? What the fuck? What was that? What? Excuse me? I did not expect to beat that so fast. I gotta find it. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, I can't believe I'm home. I'm finally home from work. Oh, time to watch some telly. Never mind. Time to go lay in bed. Oh, bed. Oh. I'm gonna look in the mirror. They're gonna be behind me. Oh, I'm so excited to be home. I don't like this. I can't check the closets. There's this frog in my room. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. I'd do the same thing, honestly, I would. You're welcome. Don't jump scare me at the end, I'm begging you. What do you mean 22 left? Why am I back? It's not over! I need a therapist, yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, I'm back at work again. A never-ending cycle. 22 left. What do you mean? Don't do this to me. Speed run. Hat, lantern. Yep, mom chilling. Bear. Bed's good. Chair. Radio. Fire. Yep. Dad. Yep. Child. Rabbit. Rabbit. Why do I keep thinking, oh my god, I think I'm dyslexic in my brain. I keep thinking ribbit, and that's why I keep saying rabbit. Don't, just, get me out of here, man. I don't see anything moving. I think we're good. Can't believe I have to be back here again. Clear. You got me fucked up. Okay, this time I'll look very carefully, even though I'm very scared and I'm about to poo my pants. Okay. Lantern, hat, mom's chilling, bear. I hear thumps. Bed. 2 cups. Dad. Radio. Dad. Chilling. Child. Move. Move, I dare you. I can't mark it off as bad unless he moves. He's not moving. I think we're clear. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. We're good. We're good. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out! Okay. Clear. We're good. 22 left? Okay, so I have to keep going until I get them all right? Remember, guys, if he's not moving, it doesn't count. I learned that last time. Okay, lantern, hats. Bear's good. Bed's good. Mom's on the portrait. 2 cups. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's Dad. Well, he's not moving, so technically we're good. Unless he moves this other window, and then in which I'm going to shit my pants, actually. He's good, TV's good, Frog's good, Dad's still not in this window. Please don't jump scare me, I'm begging you. Do I have, is my accent come through or something? The slang? Dad's good. I think we're good. What did I say? Let's Canadian. Clear. I feel like everything I say has a Canadian twang. Mom's in the portrait. Lantern, hat. Mom's good. Bear. Bed is good. Dad's chilling. 2 cups. Bear. Door's closed. Dad's good. Okay, it's just always this child, man. Frog, boy, TV. Yeah. Okay. Double check. Mom's still in the portrait. Yep. He's not moved. That's not moved. Think we're good. Don't see any of these moving. Don't see anything moving. I want to say clear. I want to say clear. Yippee! Got that twang. It's called being Canadian and also never leaving the house, so I only hear myself talk. Alright, here we go. Hat. Has that always been there? Guys? Mom? Bear? Bed? Dad? Radio? Door's closed. Dad's chilling. Dad has not moved. Child? We're gonna get jump scared. GG. GG, we're jump scared. GG! Please, 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 please! Oh, get me off! Oh, whoa, 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 I'm stuck! He got me by the throat! Wait. 19 left. Girl, free me! $19 left. Oh my god. Good. I'm just always checking for mom in the portrait. She got me fucked up. Lantern. Okay, hats. Good. Teddy bear. Beds. We're chilling. Dad's chilling. Mom's in the portrait still. No doors open. This little boy's gonna jump scare me again. Hello. Okay. Frog. Boy. TV. There's no remote. Where's the Wow. Whoa, whoa, oh, slow down. What was that house? That house was so fast. What the fuck? Let's be... Guys, you know I gotta go in there. You guys know I have to go in there. Godspeed. Remember me when I get killed. Hello! Ooh, look at your pretty smile! So nice! So nice! Don't move from there. Thank you! Don't move! Don't move, huh? So pretty. Please stay there when I come back. I'm begging you, huh? Frog. Remote's there. TV's good. Frog, not moving. Okay, please still be there. Okay, cool. We're chilling. Everything looks fine. It's not moving. Good. Excuse me. I think we're good. See ya. I think we're clear. Methinks. Yup. Yippee. We're good. Okay, outside's good. Inside, mom's still in the portrait. Okay, lantern, yup. A bear, we're good. Bed is chilling. Mother, do not move. Papa, chilling. Yeah. Same food. Okay, little child. Do not be moving. Ribbit. Child, good. Nothing up here moving. Where's... okay. Oh, she's gone. No, she moved. Ah! Oh. Hell no! Get out of here! She tried to jump me. Nice try, mom. Okay, we're good. She's chilling. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Not moving. Okay, mom. Bear. Bed. Good. Dad. Yep, chilling. Okay. Bear. Door's closed. Dad's not moving. Child. Zoe's you. Okay, remote's there. Child's there. Not moving. Frog's good. Dad's chilling. Mom, don't jump scare me. Mom, don't okay, there's a person there. But if they're not moving, then we're good. Are you good? Does this count as moving? Guys, does this count as... Wait, is that me? I think technically she's moving, so... Yippee! We're going! You're gonna send me home. It can finally be free. Good. Mom's in the... Well, pray for me. Good. As long as she doesn't come out of this, which she's going to, I guarantee she's gonna jump scare me. Okay, cups, good. Don't trust you, bitch. Oven, yeah. Radio, good. Doors closed. Papa chilling. She's still in there. Child. Frog. Child. Remote. TV. Good. Ugh. Okay, she's still there. He's not moving. He's not moving. This isn't moving. Hair's good. She's still there. I think we're good. Hair's not moving. Okay. Please don't fuck up now. I'm begging you. Please don't. Please, 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 please. Oh. Wait, why is it getting wintry? Is it always snowy? Boots, box, bag, mom. Yeah, okay. Going in. Hat, lantern. Bear. Bed. Good. Dad, chilling. I hear thumping. A child's upstairs doing something. Dad, don't move. Child. Frog. Child. Remote. TV. Don't see anything. Still. Okay. Don't jump scare me. I'm begging you. Please, 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 please still be in the portrait. Okay. Dad. Huh. This is too suspicious right now. Oh, it's moving. That's danger. That bitch was moving. She was hiding in the shadows, waiting for me to fail. She got me fucked up. Okay. Godspeed. This is where we die. We have to go in. Okay. Is this gonna move? Oh. No! I'm at the door! Fuck you! You got me fucked up! 13 left. Oh! I have to go in! It sets me up for failure! It's not like an anomaly game. I can't just say there's an anomaly. It's fucking... Oh! Okay, as long as Dad does not move, we're chilling. Bear, bed, mother, 2 cups. Dad's in the window. Okay. If that's on, radio's good. No me in the corner. Food's not moving. Child. Okay, TV, remote, Froggy. We're good. Doors closed. Has Dad moved? Dad has not moved. I think we are chilling. Nope. Yep, clear. Clear! What? Excuse me? 1 second. 1 second. Get me the shit in here. Yeah, there. Oh, Lord. Speedrun, bear, bed, mom, glasses, yep. Chair, radio, that's on, door closed, Dad not move, Dad's moving. Dad's moving. Goodbye. Yep, nope, bad. Yeah. I ain't even gonna let you guys get the chance to vote. I'm speedrunning this shit. Free me, let me go home. Yep. Nope. Nope. Okay. Mom. Bear. Bed. Cups. Yeah. Okay, we're good. So far, we're good. Dad. Something. Child. Remote's there. TV's good. Nothing's moving there. Frog's good. Dad's good. I just gotta double check. Oh, I don't know if that's a danger or clear. I don't know. I'm gonna fuck up. I don't know. I didn't see her move. It was just audio. Oh no. It's definitely haunted. Oh, okay. That was very close to death. You got me stressed out. Okay, looks good so far. Hat, lantern, yep. Bear, bed. Dad, mother. Here's thumping. I don't like the noises. Dad has not moved. Child. Oh, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead. We're dead. I don't... Dude, this is where... Oh... Alright, do your thing, little child. Jump scare me. Since you won't let me leave. 10 left. 10 left and then we're free, guys. What the fuck? I can't move. I cannot move. Okay, we're good. Never mind. Yeah, uh-huh. Where are all my coworkers at? Why is it just me? Straight up. Alright, we got this. 10 left, huh? It would be nice if I stopped dying. What am I supposed to do? Look! I gotta go in! This child, man! Okay, there's me. No! I'm at the door! I'm at the door! I'm at the door! That's not fair! I just started! You killed me! My first cabin! Not this time, kids. Got me messed up. There. Bed. Mom. Cups. Door's closed. It's just this child up here, man. You're such a troublemaker. Okay. Good. 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 Dad. Good. Nothing moving. No! Get me out, get me out, get me out. Oh, nope. Oh, she's gone. She's gone. It's dark. She's gone. She's gone and it's dark and I'm going to die. Where are you? Mom, Dad's moving. They're at the table. Nope. Nope. I think we're going... Wait, look. Oh, I didn't realize there was a sticky note. I guess technically they weren't moving. Okay, you got me there. Next time I'll walk up to them, even though I know they're going to snap my neck. I see how it is. I'll walk up to them. Mom's good. Bear. Bed. Dad. Okay, fire. Hello. He's not moving. He's not moving. TV's good. Remote's good. Child, still there? You're not moving though. I think we're good. Air's good. Nothing's moving. I think we're good. Clear. Clear. 8 left. 8 left. Okay. We got this. We got this. Okay, Dad's outside again. Classic. Mom. There. That's good. Mom's good. As long as he stays in that window, we're chilling. Oh, yeah, wow, yeah. No, no, no. Is that technically a move? You can't crawl in here, right? I think that's technically a move, right? Oh, I thought he was gone. I was about to end my episode. I think that is, if I get this wrong, I'm going to be so mad. Okay. We're chilling. Mom's in there. In we go. Oh, out we go. Out we go. He's coming. He's coming. Oh no. Go back in. Go back in. Go back in. He's coming for me. He's coming for me. Oh no. He's running at me. Ah! Country roads, take me home. Yep. Oh, I'm back in the cabin. What is he holding? He got something. Dad's gonna jump scare me. Dad's not here. Oh. Oh, please, 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 please. Hello? Hi? Hey, Mom's in there. I didn't. Bear. Dead. Oh, you got me stressed out. Dad's chilling. He's not moving. Mom's chilling. Child? Oh, we're dead. GG. 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 6 left. Oh, we're so close. 6 left. And then what? Do they free me? Do I finally get to go home? Technically, nothing's moving. Child? Remote? Frog? Not moving. Dad, chilling. Why am I going so slow right now? When'd you get there? I think we're good. I think that's a clear. Next one. Oh, I don't like these ones with the fucking dioramas. They kill me. Just need something to move. Just one thing to move. Yep, there it is. Let me out! 5 left. Maybe those ones are ones that count and I just gotta let them kill me. Hello! Hey, Mom's good. Bear's good, bed's good, Mom's good, 2 cups, Dad's chilling, he's not moving. Oh, no, I forgot to, oh, we're dead, 1 second. Oh, don't grab me! Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot, 1 second. Those redeems. Those are for my other model. Oh, I'm sorry. One sec. I forgot to turn those off. One sec. Where is my chat? Where is my chat? Please, chat, please. Where are you? Chat. Okay, one sec, sorry. Oh, okay, this is how, one sec. Go to the bottom. There we go. There you go. I give your points back. I give your points back. One sec. It's, that's for my Christmas model. I forgot to turn those off. I should be bald, though. You're right. I should just make this one bald, too. You should have your points back, though. Well, give me 1 second. I didn't realize those were still up there. Sorry to break immersion. You should have your points back, though. I'll turn those off for now, and then I'll get them fixed next time. No, you're good. If you didn't do that, someone else would have, and I would have had to do it later. So don't worry about it. But one sec, I gotta take my sweater off. Ooh. I think I was using my posture check. Okay. Yeah, we're good. That's for I have another model coming. Maybe I'll do a bald redeem for that one if I can. 'Cause it is fun to be bald. I mean, maybe not fun, but okay, posture check. I'm fixing my posture. I'm not shrimping anymore. 1 sec. Okay. We're good. Yeah, I'll just go back to shrimp mode. Oh. Okay. We're ready, guys? Here we go. I'm sorry, my voice is so I'm so I'm so scared right now. These ghosts got me messed up. I can't even speak English. Okay, ready? Here we go. Mom's chilling. In we go. Mom. There. Dad's lumpy but good. Dad's chilling. Okay. Nothing's moving. Child. Problem child. Technically, unless I see him running. Just like me, for real, for real. I used to do that all the time at my grandma's house. Danger. Okay, let's see. Mom's in the portrait. It's so fun. I don't know. And then you'd like rock back too scared. You'd rock back too much, and then you'd feel like your heart drop because you thought you were gonna fall, but it never fell. I thought Dad grew hair for a second. Okay, nothing's moving. Dad's chilling. Mom's in the portrait. Child is here. Frog. Yep. Mom's still in there, right? Yeah, mom's still chilling. Nothing's moving. Door is closed. Stove's good. Air's good. I think we're good. Let me out. Good. Clear. We're good. What? What was moving? Okay, I'm gonna look in every single corner from now on. You got me messed up. Bear, good, not moving. Bed's good, nothing under the bed. Mom, yep, 2 cups. Basket. Chair, that's on. Radio's good. Dad, stop moving. Problem child. Oh, we're dead. GG. Oh, we're dead. GG. GG. GG, everybody. Get your points. We're dead. Oh, you got me messed up. You're gonna make me look in it? You're gonna lock me in here? Oh my goodness gracious. Alright. Get ready to get jump scared, everybody. Where's the child at? Oh, they're coming for me. Oh, we're good, we're good, we're good. Okay. I'm the red one? Okay. Okay, maybe when she goes back down. Turn around. Yeah, okay. Oh, are they slowly leaving? Do I just have to wait till they all leave? Oh, she's coming back. Okay, okay, when she turns. Okay, well, next time she turns, we're gonna run. We're gonna run for it. I think. That would have been the perfect time right there. Oh, God. Okay, okay. We got this. We got this. We're good. We're good. We got this. Okay, I can't go this time because they're in the... Bro, get out of here with the death! I'm dying. Okay, when that one comes back from the front door... Sorry, I keep putting my hand in front of my track. When that one comes back from the front door, we're going. Well, actually, when this child moves, turns around, please move. Okay. 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 Ready? Okay. 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 We're going. 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 No, we're good. We're good. We're good. Move. Move. Oh, ah! 4 left. I got stuck on the child. Unfortunate. Okay. We got 4 more, and then I don't know what's gonna happen. And mom's gone. GG. Mom's gone. GG. We're getting jump scared. No mom. Bear's good. Bed's good. Okay, yeah, okay, fire's good. They're not moving. Oh. Mom, may I have some more bread, please? Watch out, I don't want to step on you. Okay. You're chilling. Frog's chilling. Remote's chilling. You're not moving. You are not moving. I think this one's good. I think we failed this one last time, but I think this one's good. Clear. Brother, may I have some oats, please? Clear. 3 more. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Mom's back in the picture. Okay, bear. Yep. Bed, Mom's good. Papa. I hear thumping. Problem child, are you moving? Remote's good. TV is good. Frog's good. Frog's getting bigger? Frog's getting bigger? Question mark, question mark. Frog is getting larger. We're leaving. That cabin is haunted. That's haunted. No. 2 more. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious. We gotta get through this one. Okay, let me just stand still. Who's moving? Really, you're not gonna walk sideways, right? Oh, got him. Danger. One more. One more. One more. Okay. There. Yep. Dead. Uh-huh. Mom. Uh-huh. Cups. Good. Fire's going. Door's closed. I hear thumping. Papa. Papa good. Child. Oh, come. Oh, it's gonna make me do this one. Oh, we're gonna be here forever, guys. My bad. Okay, let me see. Okay, okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. Okay, let me get a better look at this. I can't move. Okay, let me see. If I think we can time this. I believe in myself. I believe. So when we're gonna have to wait, but when that guy comes back, where's my hand? Where's my hand? When dad comes back from the door, okay, and then we should have went right there. I fucked up. It's over. Now I gotta wait. I gotta wait now. Girl's so loud on her feet. She got like tap shoes on. Okay, when he comes back and starts going towards that door, I keep putting my hand towards my webcam. My bad. When he comes back, we go. Oh wait, you know, I could have just went and hid in the corner. Oh my god. Okay, we got this. We got this. We got this. We do this one, we win or die. I don't know how this game ends. All right. Okay. 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 Not this one because I'll run between the mom and the son, but okay. Okay, now, corner, get in the corner. No, I ran into the little child. No, go back up, go back up, go back up. Oh, oh, oh. One left. We got this. Oh, one left. Is it still there? Okay, go. One left, one left. Going straight upstairs. Oh. I see. Frog's good. Child not moving. TV's good. Remote's good. Dad's good. Mom's chilling. Okay, let's see. Nothing's growing. Nothing's moving. Nothing is glitching. Mom, bed. Don't see anything. Bear's good. I think this one's good. We gotta get that one last one. I think that's it. I think we're clear. Yeah. Okay. I believe in us. Wait. Going. Okay. Bear. Yep. Bed. Yep. Mom. Yep. Okay. Dad. Not moving. Child. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go, guys. Lock in. Lock in. Let me use my big brain power to figure this out. Give me a second. Okay, when he's in that corner, I gotta hug the right wall and go. When Dad is in that corner, I hug the right wall and go. Or wait. Wait. Do I go? No, if I go now, I get stuck between the mom and the son. Okay. When Dad is back in that corner, we go. We should have went there. We should have went there. What am I doing? We should have went there. Now we are yeah. Okay. When Dad is coming to this room, we go. Then everyone's turned and they're not walking into each other. Okay, we got this. And I gotta go and the little girl's not patrolling the stairs. Okay, 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 we're good. Okay, when she comes down the next time is when we're going. Go. Okay, quick. Come on. Okay, come on! Oh, you got me messed up! Okay, not this time. Cause then the mom will get me. I need the bomb to be back here and little boy to be on this side. Okay. Maybe next time she comes down we go? This is so hard to time. I'm sorry, I'm dying. If we go now, we get trapped between the mom and the son. Okay. Okay, wait for the child. Turn. Fuck. Okay. Every time I think I figured it out, somebody turns and then it got me messed up again. I could go, maybe I can time it. Maybe I just time it in my head and then I can just go in a corner. If I go down now. No, because she goes in that corner. I can't even go in the corner. Oh, I should have went there. I should have went there. We got this. I believe in us. We got this. When he's like right here, we just go for it. Not right now, right here, but like, you know what? Maybe right. Yeah. Oh, never mind. We don't get it now. We have to do it later. Okay. I keep getting. Look, he's manspreading. He's in the middle of the hall. Hey, I got this. We got this. Okay. Little girl, hurry up. Please, hurry up, please. Please. Okay. Going down. Okay, now we're... Nothing even happened, bruh. Go. No. Who am I stuck on? Yeah! Hello? Oh yeah, play the vibe! Yeah! Huh? Did I just get yoinked into the back rooms? I think... Well... How many achievements does this thing have? 7? We're not achievement hunting right now, I'll tell you that much. What the heck? Damn, that was fast. I'm beating all these games real fast. That's crazy. 1 second, let me figure out another game to play right fast. No spooky game. What do we got? I don't know how much longer we have in Bendy. We could finish that off. 1 second. We'll be right back. 1 second. Okay. I don't know how much longer we got in this game, but we might as well finish it, right? Let's finish this. One sec. Let me move my cat. There we go. Let me know how the volume is too, because obviously I could not do a volume test for this. I remember where we are now. Oh, I'm about to get so mad. Okay, you got this. Alright, let's finish this game, huh? We don't have like a new spooky game to play, but that was my new spooky game, and I did not expect to finish it that fast. But I'm really liking these like indie horror games. It's really fun. I don't want to start like a new one either, because then we'll be here for like 4 more hours, and that's crazy. All right, let's finish this one off. Oh yes, I have to find all the pipes. All right, here we go. Oh, did I miss this one? Boopy! I think I already got that one, so yeah, let me know if it's too loud or anything, and I'll fix it ASAP. I think last time, oh yeah, flashing lights warning too. This game is really flashy. Alright, now we gotta find some pipes, guys. And I failed miserably last time. Oh, he coming back. Oh. Yep. Oop, okay. I don't know where I will find any pipes in this thing. Open. Open. Oh, nope. Open. Nope. Open. Oh, he's hitting me! Okay, get in there. Get in there. Do I have to kill them? Did they have the pipes? No. Let's find the missing pipes. Yeah, where are these pipes at? Open? Oh, they're all locked. Oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, wait, let's wait till he goes by. Just a little bit. Okay. Pipes, where are you? I couldn't find you last time. I'd like to find you this time. He's gonna turn. Ooh, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. We're good. Does he have it on his arm? Nah. Excuse me, where are the pipes at? Pipes, 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 pipes.
I know how much this part means to you, Susie. Alice means a lot to me, too.
I already got all these ones. Here, pipes. Ooh, soup.
I, too, really believe my characters are
Oh, he got me. He got my ass.
they're alive.
Hey! No! Ah! Ooh, running. Pipe? Nope. Pipe? Nope. Yeah, pipe. Nope. Ah! Ooh. Pipe. Oh, nope. Door. Nope. Ah! Ah! Ooh. There's another one coming around this corner. Ah! No. Pipes, please. Oh, loop 'em. Yep. Okay. Check this. Check this room. The pipes. Oh, he's going the way I'm gonna go. Please don't do that. He's gonna turn around. Okay, go. Where are the fucking pipes at? I don't have any, oh yes, I forgot about this. How did I just bring this up? Don't. Pipes. 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 Pipes? What? Oh, he's stuck, idiot! Fucking idiot stuck in the door. What are you gonna do now? Ah. There's gotta be pipes around here. Am I, like, blind? There's ah! Yeah, jump him! Oh, the flashbang. I forgot about this. Oh, you know what? I forgot to change the title of my game. 1 second. Luna. I have caps lock on. Meow. Meow. There we go. ND and the ink machine. Done. There we go. Sorry anyone who came for the cabin. We beated that. Let me check 1 second. It switched. We're good. Okay. Okay, we're good. All right, we're good. We're good. Let's go. We got this. Oh Lord. Bro gave me a frighten. All right, gotta go back this way. We got it this time. I believe in us. I just gotta wait for that guy to go by. Where is he? Where are they? Hello? Usually they're... Hello? Did I break the game? Oh, never mind. I hear one. Where are they? What is happening? Oh, who is the man behind the monster? The man behind the slaughter? Five Nights at Freddy's? Four. I don't think I have a weapon. I can't break anything. His desk doesn't have anything.
I know how much this part means to you, Susie. Alice means a lot to me, too. Gosh, all of my characters do. In fact, I'll let you in on a little secret. I, too, really believe my characters are more than just drawings. They're alive. They're part of me. And I want people to know them as well as I do. I want people to be able to shake their hand.
Why are they all coming at me at once? Okay, go. We're good. There was none, and then there were 7. Oh, let me make it, please. Let me go with my blob, please. Leave me alone. Leave me with my blob, please. They're not chasing me still, are they? Please don't be chasing me still. Please. Oh, ah! Woohoo! No! Yep, up. All right, noted. I got it. We got it. Oh, so bright. Okay. Oh, I still have the blob. That was nice of them. Okay, let's see. Film vault. Is there? Oh. Okay. We got it. Goopies. And then we need a. Which one do we need? Let's see. We need. A straight, a curve, and a. Whatever that one is. Straight and a curve. Okay, we need a straight one, a curved one. Okay, let's make this one first. And then how do we, where's the thing? There we go. Yeah, okay. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Oh no, I forgot about this creature. Oh, I forgot about him, I forgot about him, I forgot about him, I forgot about him. Please, 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 please. Where is it? Oh, thank God. Okay. I forgot that creature's just roaming around. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, right there. Yippee! Okay, more goop. 2 more goops and we're good. This way. This way. This way. Oh, not this way. This way. Good, we're good. We're not good. We're not good. We're gonna go. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Good. Okay, okay. Grab, goop. Oh, they're all gonna come running. Oh, they're all gonna come running. They're all gonna come running. Ooh. They're this way, aren't they? Oh! Idiot! Okay, good. We're chilling! Let's go! Okay. Yep. As long as they don't turn, we're chilling. Go. Go, 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 go. Yippee! And in you go, and we need a straight one. It's not gonna be like technical and make me do like a straight down, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, straight. Boop. Go, go, go. All right. Nice. Straight. Oh, one more. Okay. I should just be looping around since they went this way. We keep going this way. We should be okay. As long as they're not going to turn around. Ooh. Okay, got it. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try and go this way, but if I run into one of them, Godspeed, we're gonna have to turn around. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay, okay. Here we go. Okay. Goop. And we need a curved one this time. Go! Thank you! Thank you! Bacon soup. Sounds, I don't know. It sounds like it should be appealing, but it doesn't sound appealing. Ah, here we go. Search the vault. Oh god. Hey, This does not look good. Ooh, box.
Looks like whatever was here was
Oh
taken
lord,
long
I forgot
ago.
you guys were following me.
How did you get down here?
It pays to carry a rope. You should try it.
Look, I know where we have to go, but it's not gonna be pleasant. The Ink Demon has something that we need. I'm going after him.
You want to go to his lair?
Luna,
Are you crazy? That's death.
we gotta kill
Where
him.
the trail seems to lead.
Well, it's probably close by. Probably through that door. But it won't be easy to open. I'll need 3 gears, a crowbar, some kind of counterbalance. Huh. Well, that works too.
Okay, bro, I didn't say
Yes.
anything. Why are you looking at me like that? You got beef with me. I don't want your girlfriend, alright? Chill. You got beef with me for no reason. I don't want your woman. Watch out.
Quiet. Don't make any noise.
Stop staring at me. I'm not doing anything. You gotta chill. You left me for dead. I didn't forget that. Just you remember that. You left me for dead. You might have came back and helped me, but you did leave me for dead. And I'm not forgetting that. You better hope you're not in the second game. Can I move now? I'm moving. Ooh, friend. Enjoy time with your friend.
I've never seen this before. I don't see any way around. Nothing to build a raft with.
We'll have to wade across.
We can't. We're not like you, Henry. If we go in there, well, a drop of water in the ocean is rarely seen again.
Okay,
I
so I have
guess
to do it
it's all up
alone.
to me.
Oh, focus?
And I don't
Focus?
even know what
There
I'm
we go.
doing here. I don't even know why this is all happening to me.
You're here for a reason, Henry. There's always a reason. Even when you can't understand it. It's
Can I
time.
get some of those tools for self-protection,
Set us
please?
free.
Please? A wrench? A ruler? Literally anything. I'll take anything. I'll take a shoe. Anything, please. Oh, this is the end. Goodbye. Okay.
They could have at least given me a weapon.
That's what I'm saying! They just sent me out here! I don't got nothing! I got my fists! That's not gonna do anything against ink. Oh. Hello? Oh. Almost like they made it glow for a reason, right? What am I looking at right now? Here.
It's simply awe-inspiring what one can accomplish with their own hands. A lump of clay can turn to meaning if you strangle it with enough enthusiasm. Look what we've built. We created life itself, Henry. Not just on a silver screen, but in the hearts of those we entertain with our fancy moving pictures. But stopped selling. When the next big thing came along, only the monsters remain. Shadows of the past. But you can save them, Henry. You can peel it all away. You see, there's only one thing Bendy has never known. He was there for his beginning, but he's never seen the end.
The end.
Hello, friend. I'm about to get jumped by a monster. Oh, bro, you need some braces. Okay. Yeah, it would have helped me if they gave me literally anything. Oh, it's a running. I'm running. Oh. Hug the wall up. Yep. Ah! Bro drowned me. Oh, the light's so bright. Okay, we got this. Hug the corner. Where is he? He's behind me. Up! Up. Oh! Okay. Ah! No. Ah! Oh, you got me. You got me messed up. Okay, I got him. We got it. I might die 7 more times, but we'll finish this. I believe in us. You can't get me here, right? Okay. I already got that one. Okay, he's going. Oh, okay. We can't. He's not gonna go the same way again. We got it. No. Oh. Oh, he's behind me. Oh, where's the other one? Soon! Oh. Ah! Hug the walls. Up! Ah! I'm hydrating. I'm hydrated. Where is it? That one's gone. How many switches? Enter the machine. How many switches? We're just gonna go corner to corner. Okay, do your little runny run. I know you want to scare me. Okay, he's looping. That was good. Oh, in the corner! No! Oh, I wish I could skip this tunnel. It's so bright. Why did they do this? We got it. We're good. We're good. Oh, he's behind me. Oh, run past me, please. No! You're cheating! He's like the Spider-Man from Coraline. He feels the vibrations on the floor. Bro's cheating. I'm just a human with no weapons. I already got that one. You know what? I'm not even gonna try avoid it. Ah! Where? Where am I missing a switch? Or do I have to find a gate? It says find a gate, but there's switches. You gotta give me clearer instructions. I'm not smart. Enter the machine. Okay, enter the machine. Okay, that's down. There he is. Okay. Oh. Hug the walls. That one's not down. Get it! Hug the wall. Hug the wall. Hug the wall. We're good. 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 We're okay. Open! Oh no. Oh no. Not me, obviously. Sheen? We're running from Bendy. That's Bendy. That's Bendy! Yeah! Whoa. Oh, please. Please, 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 please. Ah! No! Oh! Ah! Jump! Jump! Go! Break it! Break it! Break it! Bring it! Bring it! Oh, we're good. Woo! Running! Oh my god. He's behind me, he's behind me, he's behind me, he's behind me! No, please! Okay, break it, break it, break it! You stinky! Oh, he's behind me. I'm back here. What do you want me to do? Wait, there's a hole. Jump. Go in the hole. Get in the hole. Oh no. Enter the machine. Where's the machine? Oh, the end. No! I win, idiot. Oh. We're home. Ugh. Bro, why'd you leave your breakfast there? 1 sausage, 1 egg, 1 lump of toast, and half an orange. Very interesting. Bathroom. Is it closed like that? Do I have a wife? Who's in the kitchen?
Henry! So soon. I didn't
Huh?
expect you for another hour yet. Now you're just trying to impress me. But I know. You have questions. You always do. The only important question is this. Who are we, Henry? I thought I knew who I was. But the success starved me. Nothing left but lines on a page. In the end, we followed two different roads of our own making. You, a lovely family. Me, a crooked empire. And my road burned. I let our creations become my life. The truth is, you were always so good at pushing, old friend. Pushing me to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You should have pushed a little harder.
Whoa. Bro's gonna stab me.
Come
What?
visit the old workshop. There's something I need to show you.
I don't want to. Oh, I'm back in it again.
Alright, Joey. I'm here. Let's see if we can find what you wanted me to see.
Free me. Oh, wait. Hey, GG's. Yippee. Oh my goodness, this is loud. Gotta let the voice actors get their credit, you know? Yeah. Jacksepticeye! Get out of here! I knew he sounded. I knew it was him. You can't not pick out Jacksepticeye when it's Jack. Like, you cannot just be like, yeah, that's not him. It was definitely him. Wow. We're on a roll today. I finished so many games.
Tell me another one, Uncle Joey.
Damn, that was a good game. Okay, the Meatly. Scene tool, you have unlocked the archives. Ah! We didn't have motion blur on. Okay, I was gonna say, there's no way we had motion blur on that time. Wow, we're on a roll. We beat like 3 games on stream so far. What a slay. Alright, you know what? Oh. I did not mean to close that. Let's do one more game for a little bit longer, and then we're gonna call it there, I think. Let me get something open. Okay, I'll be right back. We'll do another like half hour or so. 1 sec. Oh, I forgot to get the game up. Hee. All right, let's do a little bit of this, and then we're done for the night. As always, let me know how the volume is. I cannot test between switching games, unfortunately. So if it's too loud, let me know. Do a couple rounds. All right, here we go. Yeah, waiver. Done. One live. Oh, okay, we're chilling. Not really. Hey. No. Don't even. Okay. What are the chances I just shoot myself straight up? Please. Your turn. Oh, I think we're gonna skip. Oh, never mind. I'm shooting him. Oh, I won. Okay. I got you. That was alive. I think the rest are all good. I don't think we can literally. There's one. No. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I'm sorry. Chill. You. Yep. Please. No! Oh, he's gonna shoot me. Oh, we lose. Come on. All right. I'm ready. I win! Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Round 2? All right. Let's go. Uh-huh. What I get? 2 items, okay. Okay. What do I got? A knife, all right, and a beer. What do they do though? One. Oh no. Don't shoot me! Oh, he doesn't get to go first. Okay. 2 damage. Is it a blank or not? Let me see. Oh, that was the blank? I think that was the blank. Okay. Goodbye. Yep. Yeah. All right. Chill, bro. Chill. Handcuffs. Oh, okay. Oh, more handcuffs. All right. What do these do? 2 live, 2 blanks. All right. Dealer skips the next turn. Ah, get out of here. Okay. Goodbye. Please. Got him. All right. How many were in there again? I forgot. Okay. I can't remember. Godspeed. Please. Ah! Bro, show me the bullets. I don't remember. Oh, you got me messed up. He's gonna shoot me twice. Oh, he's smoking a ciggy too. I don't know what the cigarettes do. Oh, you're cheating. Ain't no way you just gave yourself. Bro's cheating. Hacking. Oh. Give me some ciggies. Oh, thank God. Another ciggy? Oh, okay. This is fine. We're good. 3 live, 2 blank. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh. Okay, okay, fix edge off, gain 1 charge. Yeah, let's do that. Smoke a ciggy. Okay, yeah, okay, put those on, sir. Thank you. I don't trust you. Uh-huh. And we're going to, okay, 3 live, 2 not. Live, please! Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Okay, okay, this one's gonna have one for sure. Please don't be, please, 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 please. Oh. Now what? Okay, there's still one that's good. Oh, you, no! Oh, no. You got me messed up. Okay, there's still, oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. There's one that's not, and there's 2 that are. You know what? I'm gonna take the risk. We're taking the risk. Please, 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 please. Oh, we're dead. He's gonna kill us. We're dead. We're dead. Oh, he's killing us for sure. Let's do damage. Please, spare me. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm up. I'm awake. Or just revive me in the bathroom. Oh, we're gonna get him this time. Go, go! Alright, I know what I'm doing now, sir. I'm back! Let's see. Okay, we got a knife, and a beer. I was not paying attention to the rounds. I messed up. Get up. Chill, bro, chill. Oh, you got me messed up. Oh, you are so lucky. I don't remember how many rounds. Oh no, oh no, no. Okay, beer, are you trying to tell me something? 2 live, 2 blanks. Okay, I got this. Okay. Oh. Okay. 2 live, 2 blank. I might as well just drink all these. Okay, that was a live one. 2 live, 2 blank. Two live, 2 blank. So this one's either a live or a blank. Let's see. Wow, of course. That's probably my fault. I think I left it out. Okay, this one's a blank. We're just gonna shoot ourselves. Yeah, that's my bad. I think I left the cookies out when I was trying to get something. What was it? Some betrayal bakes. Another knife. And some ciggies. Okay. 3 live, 2 blank. 3 to 2. Alright. And he got a lot of beer, so I am, this is bad for me. Let's pray this is a live one. 3 live, 2 blank. 3 live, 2 blank. Go. Please be live. Please, 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 please. Oh. Oh, he's gonna use his beers. Ain't no way. Spare me! Spare me! Spare me, please! Please! Spare me, please! Oh my god, okay, so that was, what, three lives? Okay, the next one's a blank. Oh! No, 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 no! Oh, I'm gonna mess you up. You're not winning this time. Oh, let's go, let's go. I wanna win. Alright, I'm back. I won't let you win this time. Yeah. What do we got? We got knife and handcuffs. Okay. Oh, it's because they handcuffed me. That's why they got the 2 turns. 1 live, 1 blank. Oh, you got me messed up. That's me! Please, 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 please. Oh! Oh, you're gonna shoot yourself. You're such an asshole. Live, 2 blank. Alright, we got this. 2 live, 2 blank. 2 live, 2 blank. Okay. 2 live, 2 blank. Okay, this. Yeah, put them on. Yeah, keep them on. 2 live, 2 blank, huh? Go. Okay. Be mad. Chill! You get to skip your turn. 2 live. Okay, maybe 2 blank. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Please be a blank. Please be blank. Please, 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 please. Ah, please, please. Oh. Okay, 2 live, 2 blank. Please, 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 get him, get him, get him. Go! No! Oh, he's gonna get me. Oh, he's gonna get me. He has a knife. He's gonna get me. I think there's only a live one left. Oh, he about to get me. Oh, you. Oh, you're a jerk, you know that? Let's see. Handcuffs and handcuffs. Wow, thanks. 3 and 2. All right. 3 and 2. Okay. Smoke. 3 and 2. Maybe we do. He has a knife, so I don't think we can even like entertain the fact of like us getting shot once. 3 and 2. Please be live. Please be live. Please, 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 please. Oh. Oh, we're messed up. Oh, we're dead. Okay, please, please. I'm begging you. If this is blank, I'm. No way! There's no way! No! He got us. Oh, we're dead. GG. GG, we're dead. He got the 2 shots, and that's 2 damage. We're dead. Goodbye. He got me. Goodbye. GG. GG. Bye. GG. Kill me. I'm done. Yeah, there we go. Ow. Alright, let's give it one more try. One more round. One more round. Alright, you won't get me this time. What do I got? What do I got? That do. Okay, and a beer. 1 and 1, huh? 1 and 1. I could not tell if that was blank. Godspeed. Ooh. Wait! I thought I just messed up. Oh my god, I was about to be so stressed. Goodbye! Chill, bro. What do we got? Give me another magnifying glass, please. A knife and a knife. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks. 2 live, 2 blanks. Two lives, 2 blanks. That was a live one. Please be blank. Please, 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 please. Ooh. Oh, I got you now. Wait, there's one more blank. I might have just messed up. Godspeed. Please, please. Okay. That was 2 lives, and there's 1 blank left, so let's shoot ourselves. That's a weird thing to say. Let's shoot ourselves in Minecraft. Okay, bro. Siggy? And a drink. Alright. 3 to 2. Can I help you? No. Okay, 3. Okay, you know what? Let's try. Let's leave it up to luck, huh? Please, 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 please. Got him! Alright. Yippee! I know you're still alive, bro. You mess off. I'll pet you. What the heck? Four items. Oh, this is okay. This guy means business. Drink, knife, magnifying glass, and a drink. All right. Oh no, this is bad. Oh, I got you. Get him! Okay, okay. Hey, get him! Bye! Oh, he got so many handcuffs, though. I think this is the end for me. Yep, handcuff me. I'm ready. Smoke a ciggy? Uh-huh. Are you gonna drink a beer now, too? Yeah, mm-hmm. Oh, no. Oh, he shot himself. I think they're all live now. So, this is not good. Cigarette. Drink. And I don't need any more of these. Okay. 4 and 4? Oh, no. Okay. 4 and 4. That was a live one. Please be blank. Please be blank. Please. Oh. Okay, that's 2 blanks. There's 2 more, and then 4 live. Okay, that was a live one. Okay, go. Goodbye. No! Oh, it's bad. Okay, alright. Yep. Look at all those knives! He's going to kill me! Oh, no. There's one more blank. Oh, there's one more. He's still gonna. Oh, there's still one more. I think there's still one more blank. Okay. All right. One more blank, huh? Okay. This isn't a blank. Okay. Please give me handcuffs. Please, handcuffs, please, handcuffs, please. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Handcuff? Ain't no way you get all blanks. Ain't no way. Get him. Oh! Oh, no. Okay, there's only 2. If I mess up, this is bad. This is really bad. Godspeed. Oh! He has 3 knives and 1 pair of handcuffs. He could just mess me up. And gets 2 lives back. Bruh, you got me messed up. Smoke your shiggy. Okay, yeah, I knew that was coming. You didn't cut off the... I think there's still 1 blank. But I haven't been counting. Oh god. Don't. No, okay. Or was there only... No, it's all lives now. Oh no, okay. It's all lives. I should have saved my handcuffs. Oh no, okay, we got this. It's all lives. I don't think there's any... Okay, smoke. Okay, yep, 1. Another one, I think... Oh no. You know what? I'm gonna save that, and we're just gonna... I'm pretty sure there's no more blanks, so we're just gonna go for it. Hands up! No! Oh no! GG. GG. 4 and 2. Okay. There's 2 blanks. 2 blanks. 2 blanks. 1 blank. 1 blank. 1 blank. Don't be a blank. I swear if it's a blank. 1 blank left. okay. Hey, woo. Yeah, smoking thingy. One blank left. Keeping that in mind. Yep. Knew that was coming. How come you always get the magnifying glasses, but I don't? Oh, that's not. We're good. We're done. Bye. Bye. Okay, there's one blank, and I'm still handcuffed, and he's about to kill me. Oh, the blank's gone. Okay. I think we got this. Okay, handcuff. Siggy. And then let's shoot him. Goodbye. Why are you staring at me like that? For what? Am I ready for what? It's 3, 4, 5. Oh, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7. Okay, there's 3 blanks. 3 blanks. Oh my god. 3 blanks. 3 blanks. First one is not a blank. We got this. We got this. We got this. Okay. Shoot him. Hands up. Did I win? How do I open? Oh yeah, we're rich. Yippee! We win! Hey, Venturine, get out of here. Yippee! We're on a roll today. Alright, I think that was the last game. It's time to hop off now. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And thanks for chilling with me through all those games. I'm glad we got to play some spooky games since we didn't get to play much last weekend. But yeah, thank you for showing up and chilling with me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Probably with some more Witcher during the weekday. Bye! Thank you for stopping by. Bye! See ya! See ya next time!